Shanghainese will definitely like this level of sweetness. Don't move, this isn't for you. If you want to eat it, eat the kind that's freshly picked from the tree. The ones with added ingredients are for city dwellers. Hello everyone, I'm Da Hua, who has been a fruit buyer for over 10 years. Today I'm going to tell you about the fruits that fruit shop owners themselves don't eat. The first is purely sweet citrus fruits without any acidity. Fruit shop owners, if they eat citrus, they definitely won't choose those that are purely sweet without any acidity. Naturally ripened citrus fruits will have some acidity, and the taste will definitely be a distinct sweet and sour flavor with very clear layers. If the citrus fruit you eat is cloyingly sweet and has no aroma at all, then there's probably something wrong with it. I suggest you don't eat it or choose it. Did you know that bayberries are going unsold? Lots of bayberries are displayed, but nobody buys them. Why? It wants your life. In Red China, there's a widely circulated propaganda slogan, "Our life is sweeter than honey." Indeed, Chinese sweetness now permeates all kinds of food, especially summer fruits. But this sweetness is frightening. At the same time, China abandons as much as 12 million tons of fruit every year. Why is that? This episode, let's focus on the country's cloyingly sweet fruits. Many Chinese people are wary of out-of-season fruits. They prefer seasonal fruits, believing them to be natural and healthy. Now is the season for peaches in abundance. In China, you can find a wildly popular crisp peach everywhere, from street stalls and farmers' markets to fruit shops. Its flesh is crisp and sweet, bursting with juice with every bite, making it a bestseller and loved by customers of all ages. However, many Chinese people don't realize that the initial sweetness isn't actually from the peach itself. It's peak season for crisp peaches now, and many stalls here start selling at dawn and sell out by morning. Some vendors can wash 2,000 or 3,000 kilograms of crisp peaches a day, but these seemingly fresh and tempting peaches are not preserved with white sugar at all. The vendors secretly pour artificial sweeteners into large vats of soaking peaches, and they pour in 2 or 3 packets at a time, adding more or less entirely by feel, without any standards. Is this all cyclamate? Yes. What kind of cyclamate is it? It's also a food additive, Cherry brand. That's how to sell them well. On May 7th this year, a reporter from Fujian TV went to a fruit wholesaler market in Xiamen for an undercover investigation. In this famous Zhangpu fruit market, the reporter found that most of the crisp peaches sold on the market were soaked in vats of murky chemical solution, forcibly sweetened artificially. Vendors pour raw peaches into large plastic buckets, add white powder, then soak and shake them with water. These peaches, originally sour and astringent, are transformed into super sweet and crisp peaches in just a few minutes. The magical process relies on that packet of white powder, cyclamate. Strangely, the vendors make no attempt to hide this. When asked, "Why add this powder? Can't you use white sugar?" a vendor replied, "White sugar isn't sweet enough and it's expensive. Cyclamate is hundreds of times sweeter than white sugar. A bag costs around $3 and can soak thousands of kilograms of peaches." To achieve a sweeter taste that appeals to consumers, many vendors also mix in artificial sweeteners such as asulfosam, potassium, and sodium saccharin. According to China's National Food Safety Standard GB 2760, sweeteners such as cyclamate and asulfam potassium can only be used in processed foods such as beverages and pastries. Cyclamate, when used in controlled dosages, is fine for processed snacks like pastries and candied fruits. However, fresh fruits are strictly prohibited from containing any artificial sweeteners. Experts point out that the ingredients of those 3 no compound sweeteners, those with no production date, no manufacturer, and no quality certification, are unknown and may contain excessive amounts of sodium saccharin, cyclamate, etc. Long-term consumption may lead to nervous system discomfort such as dizziness, headaches, fatigue, and memory loss. The impact on the memory development of adolescents is even greater, and it may also interfere with endocrine metabolism, damage liver and kidney function, and in severe cases even cause chronic organ damage. Long-term excessive intake will increase the metabolic burden on the liver and kidneys. If the additives are sourced from irregular sources, there is also a risk of microbial and heavy metal contamination. Many people experience a sticky mouth and a tight, itchy throat after eating these peaches, often mistakenly attributing it to internal heat. So, do vendors know the effects of these special sweeteners on the human body? When a reporter tentatively asked, "Won't it cause problems to eat these soaked peaches regularly?" the vendor frankly admitted, "You can't eat too many, they're bad for your health. Diabetics should absolutely avoid them. We never eat them ourselves." They don't eat them themselves, but they let consumers eat them. The reason is simple: insane profits. The cost of unripe peaches is extremely low, just a few cents per pound. With cheap additives, the cost is almost negligible. After being processed with chemicals, these peaches instantly become trendy fruits, sold to consumers at several times the price. The worst outcome is that these unscrupulous vendors make a fortune, while honest businesses are squeezed out of the market. Naturally ripened peaches have average sweetness, are time-consuming and labor-intensive to grow, and inevitably have blemishes on their skin. Their poor appearance makes them unappealing, and nobody wants to buy them. According to data from China's National Bureau of Statistics, China's fruit production has long been approaching 300 million tons, with a value of nearly 2 trillion yuan, firmly holding the title of the world's largest fruit producer. However, behind these impressive figures lies a social reality that is difficult for outsiders to understand. Domestically produced fruits are gradually becoming affordable substitutes for imported fruits. Every year, as much as 12 million tons of fruit are wasted due to unsold produce, causing huge economic losses. In the summer of 2026, Chinese consumers collectively abandoned a type of fruit, the bayberry. Why? In mid-May this year, Chinese media inadvertently revealed a secret. The bayberry is now 8,000 times sweeter than cane sugar. Whoever comes can take them, want them or not, they are free. Oh dear, the market is completely dead today. It's really going to collapse. The entire national bayberry market has collapsed this year. Because of the incident in Fujian, the bayberry market is now a wasteland. Nobody's buying them. These fruit farmers simply can't sell them, and they're piling up here in rows. Zhangzhou City in Fujian province has long been known for its bayberry production. May is the peak season for bayberries. Local reporters investigated and went undercover at more than 10 purchasing points in the city, revealing an open secret. Fresh bayberries are being soaked in a solution containing banned preservatives. Chinese media discovered that at a bayberry wholesale point, workers were directly placing whole baskets of bayberries into a mixed chemical solution, soaking them briefly, draining them, and then packing them into boxes. There were absolutely no hygiene protection or dosage control throughout the process. They added 2 substances to this liquid. One was a compound sweetener, its package boldly stating 8,000 times sweeter than sucrose. This sweetener lacked ingredient information, production date, and quality certificates on its packaging. The other substance was sodium dihydroacetate, used for preservation. To reiterate, according to China's National Food Safety Standard for the use of food additives, additives such as sodium dihydroacetate, sodium sarcarin, and cyclamate are prohibited in fresh fruits. One vendor stated, adding this makes the sour bayberries sweeter, improving their appearance and making them more popular. A nearby worker said, we would never eat bayberries soaked in this solution ourselves for fear of causing problems. Indeed, even the workers at the purchasing point dared not eat such bayberries. However, one purchasing point could ship over 5,000 pounds of bayberries a day during peak season. Consumers have reason to worry about the quality of the bayberries they intend to buy. Look what I found. That batch of bayberries from Fujian, which was just exported to the EU a couple of days ago. Guess what? Were these bayberries soaked in chemicals? They definitely wouldn't dare. If they did, the EU would fine them into bankruptcy. So, in the future, if I want to eat authentic, safe Chinese bayberries, I have to go to EU countries, right? We export all the good stuff, and then we eat all the chemically treated ones ourselves. What kind of logic is that? After the news came out, Chinese consumers collectively searched for the characteristics of bayberries and found that this fruit is very delicate and spoils within 2 days at room temperature. Also, early ripening bayberries tend to be sour. It doesn't take much intelligence for the Chinese to figure it out. From picking and transportation to market and storage, it's nearly impossible to find bayberries picked within 2 days after the harvesting. It's even less likely to find such sweet, fresh bayberries. In fact, almost all purchasing points in China soak bayberries in this chemical solution. One vendor told Chinese media, everyone adds it, if you don't, you won't sell. Every day, thousands of pounds of bayberries are shipped from Fujian to various locations in Guangzhou, sometimes exceeding 5,000 pounds during peak season. These soaked bayberries are then transported via cold chain to wholesale markets in Zhejiang, Shanghai, Guangdong, and other places. Some netizens commented that these law enforcement officers already knew that bayberries were being treated with chemicals. In this incident, from fruit farmers to vendors to regulators, no one is innocent. In recent days affected by the incident, Fuji and bayberries have been removed from shelves in many places, causing prices to plummet and sales to stagnate. Numerous videos circulating online show ripe bayberries unable to be sold. Many fruit farmers say they have suffered heavy losses, with trees full of ripe bayberries having no market and forced to watch them rot. Some farmers are even throwing away unsold bayberries or feeding them to pigs. Now let's look at this fruit called golden plum. Countless tourist attractions in China have sold this fruit to visitors. In souvenir shops, the fruit, gleaming like a ruby and resembling plastic, is touted by vendors as a rare highland variety and a beauty secret, priced at $10 per pound. The truth is, these are discarded small green peaches picked by farmers during thinning, soaked in a mixture of colorings, flavorings, and sweeteners, chemically forcibly rejuvenating them. Those already rotten or worm-eaten fruits, after a quick dip in this chemical solution, emerge as brightly colored, long-lasting, high-end goods. This isn't a gift from nature, it's practically waste dumping from a chemical plant. Now let's look at lychees. Multiple online videos show some mainland vendors soaking lychees in water with an unidentified white substance floating on the surface. Some people have also filmed vendors adding white powder to the water, prompting netizens to speculate that it might be a preservative or brightening agent, and to question whether these additives are toxic. After the incident was exposed, many vendors claimed that soaking the lychees in water was simply to cool them down. But Chinese netizens who had suffered many losses before did not believe them. Years ago, Chinese media reported that because lychees are extremely perishable, they are often soaked in chemicals after harvesting, with formaldehyde being the most common. This chemical is corrosive, and children who consume it may experience symptoms such as fever and even increase their risk of contracting hand, foot, and mouth disease. Now let's look at strawberries. Strawberries are sprayed with pesticides, and they even wear gas masks. After watching the video, I just want to ask, do the people who grow strawberries eat them themselves? We try not to eat them because the pesticide residue is impossible to wash off. If you really want to eat them, soak them in salt water for a while before eating. This blogger said he ate a lot of fruit at his grandmother's house as a child, and most of them had a slightly sour taste. But now almost all the fruit is sickeningly sweet, which he believes is because of the use of cyclamate. He said that he has a relative who was a farmer who used to spray saccharin on fruit for others, earning tens of yuan a day. Every time his relative sprays this pesticide, their hands become irritated and peel, demonstrating how irritating these chemical additives are. I want to say that the fruit now is completely inedible, including the fruit from my hometown. It's no longer edible. Why do I say this? Let me tell you. I'm from Sichuan. All the land around my home in Sichuan has been contracted out, and it's all planted with things like wild tangerines and ugly oranges. But what I want to say is that I haven't picked or eaten a single fruit in my hometown this year. Of course, some relatives and friends gave me a few, and I tried them. Let me tell you, they were extremely sweet. The kind of sweet that makes you feel dizzy and tasted very unnatural. Summer wouldn't be complete without watermelon, would it? May 22nd, Kaiyuan City, Honghe Prefecture, Yunnan Province. A watermelon vendor had a jar of water hanging next to her cart. The female vendor sat on a chair, using the back of a knife to dip into some kind of liquid from the jar, then repeatedly smearing it onto half-cut watermelon. I passed by and saw her selling watermelons there. She was selling them very cheaply. When I was about to leave, I saw her smearing something on the watermelons. She smeared it on several, and I only took a picture of one. I've seen them at another market too. They only sell the lowest quality, the worst watermelons. What was the unidentified liquid being smeared on? Netizens began to speculate. It's probably a preservative. Cut watermelons oxidize very easily. No need to guess, it's either saccharin or artificial sweetener. Many netizens exclaimed in fear, "The food we eat is terrifying. I bought a water-soaked cantaloupe from a street vendor once, and I got diarrhea after eating it. I'll never buy it again." Now, let's look at durian.
这真是不看不知道。
You really don't know until you see it. Supermarkets nowadays, to make durians look better and sell them at higher prices, they actually rinse the soaked durians in yellow water. You can see that the durian was originally yellow, but after rinsing it away, it turns green. Why do customers still like to eat it so much? If you see these 5 types of fruit in a fruit stand, don't buy them even if they're heavily discounted. Just walk away. I've been selling fruit for 8 years and these scams are too deep. First, cracked durians. Vendors always say that cracked ones are naturally ripe, but that's completely wrong. Naturally ripened durians don't crack. The larger the crack, the more dangerous it is. Bacteria can fill it, insects can bite it, and eating it can easily cause stomach upset. Second, shiny imported oranges. This shine is all artificial waxing. It's safe to say that in the Chinese fruit market, you'll find it very difficult to find fruit that hasn't been treated with chemicals and isn't poisonous. Under the CCP's rule for over 70 years, the social moral system has completely collapsed, and at the same time, the legal system is dysfunctional, and the government's management functions have systematically broken down. It's the 3rd day of applying fertilizer and most of them have started to turn red. Then, in the afternoon, a color-changing agent is used to force the color change, resulting in this color. It can go to market in 7 to 10 days. Do not eat it directly, it must be thoroughly cleaned. It contains a drying agent. Eating it directly will damage your stomach and intestines. Be very careful. This tastes a bit strange, but you know what? After being soaked in the chemical solution, it's really sweet. Everyone knows that babies should eat less fruit, but almost no one tells you why. They either say it's bad for the spleen and stomach, or it's too cold in nature, using vague explanations. So what's the real reason? After watching this, you might just take the fruit plate away from your baby. First of all, today's fruits no longer taste as natural as they used to. To cater to popular tastes, wild varieties are twice as sweet, with each bite packed with fructose. Even for adults, we need to control our sugar intake, let alone babies. Excessive sugar not only increases the metabolic burden, but also subtly affects vision development. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.